The purpose of this video is to walk you through a case study using one of the online archives with Czech records. To begin, start your browser. Type in actapublica.eu. Press enter. This is the first screen that you will see. Click on the first tab. We are going to use the first option, the Brno archives, for our search. This is the next screen that you will see. We are going to change the default number of records listed from 10 to a larger number. I usually change it to 25 or 50 so that I can avoid going to a second page, because frequently I forget to go to that page, and that's where the records are that I need. We are now ready to search for books for a particular village. Obec is the word, a generic word for municipality, village, town, city, and this is where you would start to type the name of the location you are looking for. We are going to use a village named Alexovice, and we can just start typing the letters, and at ALEX it shows up on the list. You scroll down to the one that matches the one you want and click on it. Alexovice was part of a larger area named Ivančice, and they were organized with the larger village having the records of the smaller churches, or perhaps even the people walked from the smaller village to the larger one for church. So you will see this organization as the records get older. More and more villages are part of the larger one. As they get newer, frequently the villages ended up with their own set of books. When I clicked Hledat on the previous screen, it did a search and it came up with this list of books. We can see that in 1627 Alexovice was part of Oslavany, and in 1651 part of Ivančice. I have no idea why the books were in two places, whether there were two churches, etc. It is worth your while to check out both locations once you get back into those earlier days. We are going to look for a record in the 1875 era. A couple of reasons. The handwriting is easier to read. So once you find the set of the book that you want, then you just click on the magnifying glass in order to bring up that book. The book opens. Up at the top, these symbols, the star, circle or ring, and the plus sign, cross, mean that there are indexes or indices for the records. These are very, very helpful because then you can find what page the record you are looking for is on. The star means birth, the ring, the O, means marriages, and the cross means deaths. This book contains 3 sets of records, so it could be listed marriages, births, deaths, or births, marriages, deaths. There's no hard and fast rule, you just have to figure it out. We are going to go to the last page, and we will use that as an index. We're going to find an entry that begins with Z, and so it makes sense that that would be on the last page. There are a variety of ways to get to a certain image, but one way is to come up to the little box here and just type in the number and then click enter. Depending on the speed of your computer and network, it can take quite a few seconds for the records to come up. But once it is up on the screen, you can zoom in using either your wheel and control, the wheel on the mouse, or this zoom control. Our case study is going to be Aloysia Zechmeister, and we can see that she is supposed to be on page 45. With a little practice, you will get pretty good at guessing where page 45 would be. Okay, we're on slide 156. There are 26 letters. Well, not exactly, but divide that by 2, it's 13. 156 minus 13 would be slide 143, so that maybe the letter A would be there. We're going to go to 145, however. And we ended up with the letter B. I did that so that I could make a point about how items are indexed sometimes. See how it says B and P at the top of the page? If you experiment by saying B and P, you can see that they are almost the same shape of the face, and in turn we will see names like Bittner turns into Pittner and vice versa. D and T are sometimes indexed together, as well as V and W, because they are simply the same letter in German. For the letter C, I've seen 3 different versions of C. There may be others. F and V could be together. Just be aware that if you can't find your letter in the index, go look for it somewhere on a different page. I would expect to find the letter A on page 144, which means 143 should be the last page of the deaths. And it is. Let's drag it down just a little bit so we can see the page number. Okay, we're on pages 48 and 49, so image 142 would be 46 and 47. Image 141 would be pages 44 and 45. That's the one we want. And there she is, page 45, the first entry. There's quite a bit of information here. She was from House 7. She was 20 years and 11 months old. And best of all, the person who wrote this record included a cross-reference back to her birth date. I've already researched where her birth record is. It's on image 69. In the interests of time, we'll just skip right to that spot. And there is her record, the right-hand panel, the third one down. And now we really find out a lot of information. They are in House 8. They must have moved at some point. We find out that her father's name is František, and he is the son of Tomáš, and his mother's name is in there too. Her mother is Maria, daughter of Tomáš Tuma, and Anna Pospišil. So we have more names that we can research back. The index for their marriage record is on slide 39. We're going to go take a look at that. We see the entry for Franz Zachmeister. Recall that Franz and František are equivalent names. It's on page 8. Now, which slide should page 8 be on? Well, 8 divided by 2 is 4, except we have to add in a possible cover page and a table of contents or something like that. It's usually going to be a couple off, so we're going to go to 6 instead. And sure enough, this slide is pages 8 and 9. One of the things that you can do is to rotate this image, and that's this little arrow thingy up here at the left, and we're going to rotate it counterclockwise so we can see the headings a little bit more easily. So the first bride on this page is from Alexovitsa, house number 9. Unfortunately, the headings at the top of the page were turned the opposite direction, so I turned it the wrong way to read the headings, but the correct way to read the data that was entered. Let's rotate it back so we can look at our Zechmeister and Tuma record. This record is full of information. Much of it I cannot read, but it does say that Franz Zechmeister um, was the son of Thomas. We knew that already from the birth record. But to the right of that, sideways, it gives the book and page number where his baptismal record can be found. Over in the bride, Maria Tuma, it says that she is the daughter of the deceased Thomas Tuma. So we would know that we should look for his name before the year of this date. We didn't even look at how to figure out the dates, did we? It also gives the book and page number where her baptismal certificate can be found. Finally, a couple of pages further on, we see an example of where the groom is not from this village. It includes his village and the house number. With data like that, you can then search in another village and extend your ancestry back even further. I suggest this book as a good example of one to learn from. Once you get comfortable with moving around in it, then branch out and start searching for your own ancestors. Bye.